Hey y'all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton, here with Brandon. It's day 8 of the Weiss Schwarz Invitationals, day 1 of the second round of the tournament. 2 games already finished up today, 1 currently ongoing, the clash between Jesh and Connor, AOT versus Love Live Sunshine. That game will be featured on tomorrow's stream because by the time that game is over and we would get something recorded, it would be very late here in the Eastern time zone, so we will be pushing that one to tomorrow's video. But in the meantime, we have 2 finished games to talk about. We're going to start with Joon and Marko. Batman Ninja versus Sword Art Online. This game was not streamed, but I was able to reach out to both Joon and Marko and got some comments and some commentary from them. Marko took game 1. Joon went 0 for 3 on all of his brainstorms. Wasn't able to get the pieces that he needed to set up his board. Marko had advantage on board and in terms of resources, and was able to use that to get his win. A lot of its other plusing effects are really expensive, so you really want to hit those brainstorms to get your game set up. If you're running Batman Ninja, Joon simply missed them, and Marko was able to capitalize. Game 2, Joon was able to control the board and really deplete Marko's resources by continually dragging up his back row, forcing Marko to keep playing stuff down just to keep a field in play. And that trend continued into Game 3 as well. Marko ate a ton of damage off the top, and repeatedly would only have 2 characters in his front row, really struggled to keep his board full and actually push for any kind of damage. Joon is able to take games 2 and 3 this way, and the legend of Batman Ninja continues in the Weiss Schwarz Invitationals, Brandon.
Joon still being able to hang in there in the elimination bracket, and rather it gets to threaten Cohen just another day of a possible rematch later down the road. Going into the second game of the day today, we had Jack and Coco versus Vince, the Goblin Slayer quote-unquote mirror match. They both played the same set, but the decks look very different. Vince ends up taking this one 2-0. Jack's able to get ahead early. I mean, both games pushing Vince up a level and a half above Jack and is doing really, really well. Vince is able to turn the tables. In fact, game 1 had a pretty intense ending to the game. Looks like Jack's about to swing for the win. Has 6 instances of damage coming into Vince, who's at 3-3. So he swings in for the first attack, canceled. Sashi burns 1, burn 1 hits. He's at 3-4. Attack 2, going into a very low deck, 1 cancel in there, canceled. 1 card left in deck. Goes in for the third swing. Vince is refreshing with 7 climaxes. He swing for 2, so the one that's guaranteed, and then whatever he's going to flip off the top. Vince had a 22% chance to hit a climax off the top of his deck, and does.
Vince is just a really good Weiss player.
Gets better, because there's still the refresh point coming in. We're up to 3-5. Jack only needs 2 points of damage. Restand swing for exact lethal. Vince has a 33% chance of canceling, and does. So, of that 6 instances of damage, 4 of those were canceled. The 2 that hit were the 2 1 points of damage. Vince lives on to be able to swing in and is able to effectively steal that win from Jack. Game 2, similar story. Jack's able to, again, push Vince up a level and a half. And as we've seen in other games in this tournament, Priestess just is not able to finish a game. He's able to tri-field Priestess, but tri-fielding Priestess is not going to do any good against the burn. And did Vince have a lot of burn damage? Vince was able to pull off the Double Dwarf combo, going for 9 instances of damage off of the combo alone. You just take damage from that. You can't stop that unless you have some kind of anti-burn. And Jack already being up to level 3, it was game over at that point.
Yeah, I think that this is, Goblin Slayer's first real chance to do something in a competitive environment above the store level, and the Priestess build hasn't really lived up to expectations, I think. It went 0-3 in the main bracket first round. It loses here to what I think most would describe as the not as good Goblin Slayer list, but it really came down to the fact that Priestess couldn't close. Jack had Vince to level 3 a couple of times with Priestesses on board and didn't have any way to close out the game. And I think that as much as Solneg is a good ability, and as much as Priestess I think definitely belongs in Goblin Slayer decks, I don't know. I think a lot of players are going to be rethinking how Goblin Slayer is built and maybe its place in the meta going forward based on these results from this last week. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that there's a really good opportunity for conversation with that. I think that best of three also doesn't necessarily show how it would look like in a best of one tournament, and especially with deck lists being open in this one, whereas for the most part, especially in Swiss rounds, your deck lists aren't open. I especially think seeing the Goblin Slayer play its games. I don't think Priestess has that end game potential. It's not able to survive that 2-turn end game effectively from what we've seen.
So let's have a quick look at the main bracket. Again, the game between Jesh and Connor currently ongoing will probably be done by the time you're seeing this. We'll talk about the game in the next video. As is, the rest of the round of 16 remains the same. In the elimination bracket, Jack and Coco and Marko both going home. Vince and Joon surviving to the second round of the elimination bracket, but they will play losers from the current round of competition in the main bracket. So as more games get played, we'll be filling up this bracket as well. We're trying to get an idea of what's coming up as the tournament progresses. In the meantime, aside from Jesh and Connor, we have 3 games currently on the schedule for a stream this week. Riaz and Sven, with their much-anticipated SAO match, will be June 24th at 6 o'clock Eastern on Burn 1. Duke and Christian will be playing Bang Dream versus ReZero on June 25th at 3 o'clock Eastern over on ENTCG. ENTCG will also be hosting Adrian's Review Starlight list, taking on Matt and his Priestess list on the 26th at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Again, those are the only ones that are currently set with a schedule and a stream. There are other games currently in the works. Check the description for further schedule updates. We'll get those up as soon as we can. I believe that is it for us today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this with someone that you think might be interested. And until next time, have a good one.
We'll see you then.